First couple of minutes of the video, I was showing some of the exercises that I do for my neck. I don't really post a lot of that stuff. If you guys are interested, I can start putting more of my body weight routine on video because I do quite a lot of it, and I do quite a large variation of it. The wife and I, we do yoga. I do a lot of physical therapy, stretching. I do a ton of there's just a lot of stuff that I don't put on YouTube because I just didn't think people would be interested in it. But if you guys are, let me know. My voice is still a little messed up, so please forgive me for that. I wanted to thank everybody who's been sending me warm wishes. I thought I would get I wasn't sure what kind of response I was going to get when I posted the video of me dropping the weight on my neck. But for a ton of you reached out, and it's been really awesome. And I thank you guys really from the bottom of my heart. That being said, what I wanted to talk about this morning is perspective, gratitude. I've had a little bit of time to think about things. You know, I don't want to make it a big deal. It's like I dumped weight on my neck. I got out of it. I'm largely unscathed. I'm going to go get checked out by the doctor. But for the most part, it was a harrowing near miss that could have resulted in me being crippled or killed. Who knows? But it didn't. And I've had a lot of accidents in my life where I could have been crippled or killed. But it didn't. My wife calls me a cockroach. She's like, you should have been dead 100 times over. And once again, it happened. And it just made me think. When stuff like this happens, if you take time and really just kind of think about it, it really puts things in perspective. All the things that we make a huge deal out of and that we stress about and we have no control over, all the bills, the things at work, the problems with the kids, the wife, the family, day in and day out, things breaking around the house, all sorts of issues that are just, they seem like the end of the world when they're happening. And we worry. We spend nights, sleepless nights just worrying about how we're going to take care of these things. And in the end, they all kind of just work out. Often they work out in ways that we had never even thought about. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Think about something in your life that you're stressing about or were stressing about. Like losing sleep type of stress. And think about while you were stressing about it, you were thinking about ways where you could fix it or maybe change, help the situation out. And then now think about how it worked out. How did it take care of itself? Often what I find is things work out and they're not nearly as bad as what I came up with in my head. We often think of like the worst case scenario and we kind of run off of that. But usually if you really think about it, things just sort of tend to work out. And a lot of times we didn't really have much to do with it. It just did. This last competition in November is a perfect example. If you recall, I was set to compete at IPL Worlds. I had tickets and everything set up for me and my wife to fly out. We were going to meet Bobby. I was going to go compete. And then we were going to hang out in Oregon for some time, and I was going to spend a few days on vacation with my wife. And then what happened? A couple days before competition, I got my accounts drained. Somebody hacked. I lost every penny I had in savings, and I was going to cancel the trip. Worst case scenario. My wife said, we still got the plane tickets. Just go. Would go with no money? And I'm thinking, it's not possible. How am I going to pull this off? I had no idea how it was going to work out. None whatsoever. I just knew, Bobby said I could stay with him, and you know how the rest played out. I just flew out there, and 2 days into it, I got my paycheck, everything lined out. I got a hotel room. I wound up competing, no problems. Well, there was a lot of problems, but the moral of the story is I had no idea how it was going to play out, and all the ideas in my head, I couldn't come up with a single thing, and yet it all worked out anyways. I had friends step up and help me out. It just worked out. And if you think about it, a lot of things do. We spend countless hours worrying and trying to At least I do. I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty high strung, so I'm one of those worry, or I'm always trying to think about like how I can make things better or change things, and I tend to obsess. And on one hand, that's good because it kind of drives me and helps me to be successful. But on another thing, it's bad because I stress myself out needlessly. And when I settle myself down and really think about it, it's like it just all works out. There's no need to stress. As cliche as it sounds, don't worry. Be happy. Yeah, and then I go ahead and do something like this where I almost kill myself. And it has me feeling sentimental and really, really grateful. I think about how my life's turned out, and I could easily focus on the problems and make everything terrible. We still have a little bit of outstanding debt. My credit's not perfect. I got a lot of stress with work, a lot of responsibilities. There's problems with the kids and the wife. I mean, not like problems, but the problems that kids have going to school and trying to maintain their grades and make sure that all their needs are met with all their functions. And then my wife trying to find quality time to spend with her, making sure her needs are met. And we're not rich, but then I turn around and flip that, and it's like I have one of the highest incomes of anybody I know personally. A lot of people have dual income homes, so the husband and wife work, so they have more overhead. But like my salary, I'm doing pretty good. I have everything a guy could possibly want. You have good friends. I'm doing well with powerlifting. The work's going great. Like there's so many positives. We have money in the accounts again. We got our savings built back up. Like things are moving in a positive direction. And it's like, if I really think about it, I have nothing to complain about. I'm one of the most blessed people I've ever met in my life. I'm one of those guys that no matter how hard I try to screw things up, I seem to always come out on top. One thing I've noticed, God, I do pray, and I noticed I don't ever get what I want, but I always get what I need. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to bless me with millions of dollars and a luxury life where I can just sit back and rest on my laurels. But he'll make sure that everybody's fed and that we have enough to get through the week, if that makes sense. I never get what I want, but I always get what I need. And I have this childlike faith that everything's just going to work out. I spent all this time worrying, and then I get to a point where I'm all worked up and I just can't do it anymore. And I say one simple prayer, and I really mean this. Like, I'm not even joking when I say this. I just say, God, this is too big for me. I can't handle it. And that is my prayer. And then my job is to just have faith that it's all going to work out, and it does. And then my responsibility is to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You don't just say that prayer and sit there and wait for somebody to come by and rescue you. You still got to dig in and do what you need to do. You know what I mean? The weight's not going to lift itself. I was watching a video this morning, Tall Man Jude. I love his content. So introspective. He's talking about how Mark Bell got canceled, his channel. And it doesn't really say the reasons. YouTube said his content was problematic, and everybody presumes it's because he talks about steroids. And I just got to thinking, it's really a shame that we don't have like a space where we can discuss things that affect men. I would never advocate for pushing of something that's bad for people, but I like the idea of having a place where people can share their experiences so that anybody that's thinking about making decisions can have good information. They can listen to people's experiences and hear the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups and downs, the issues, the side effects, the dangers, the deaths, the nitty gritty, the good and the bad. If you're a woman, it'll man you up and make you ugly. Things of that nature. It's like people that want to get into boxing or MMA, or they hear watch how it changes their face over time and their ears get all cauliflowered and things like that. It's like, for every endeavor we want to get into, there's always a downside. There's a sacrifice, especially when you want to try to do it at a high level. So it's I think it's important to have a place where we can talk about that stuff. Personal issues, mental issues, mental health, things that affect men, good and bad. We don't. And I think Mark Bell, his channel did a little bit of all of that because he had a lot of different people on it. You could get a good perspective from a variety of different lifters, and I thought it was very informative and useful. And there was at times where I thought he did kind of glorify things a little bit, but it's like, I don't know, as a grown man, I feel like I can discern for myself. You listen to somebody talk for 2 or 3 hours, you'll be able to tell what kind of person they are. You can't really hide who you are in long form podcasts. I think that's one of the reasons I like the Joe Rogan stuff so much, is because his interviews are so long. You get to really get a feel for people that you wouldn't under normal circumstances online, where you only hear him talk for 5 or 10 minutes. So that's always a bummer when I hear somebody gets canceled like that. Yeah, I don't know, just kind of everything got me thinking this morning. In the end, we don't really have much control over anything except for the choices we make. We get to control our choices and our decisions and how we move forward, but we don't own the outcomes, and tomorrow is promised to no one. So even though I did kind of hurt myself, I'm going to keep soldiering forward like I always do, and I'm going to double down on making sure that I'm safe about it. And I hope you guys all saw what happens, and maybe it's got that bug planted in the back of your head, so you're checking your setups before you get started too. So like, good, bad, and ugly, man, that's what it's all about. Love you guys. See you in the battlefield.